to basically sit down with somebody who had been in that tradition, really ask a lot of questions and spend some time getting my doubts kind of addressed. And so the result of that was, after all those years, I had, my experience of these teachings really shifted pretty dramatically. And some of the questions and things that had been plaguing me were not so much of a problem after I had talked with Bob Adamson. So I came back and realized that for me, the spiritual seeking and the questions were resolved, and which was quite a change in my life. And there's basically no teaching. There's no doctrine. There's no particular set of knowledge that is being conveyed. All these teachings basically say who you are and what you are is the truth, and that's to be realized. So that's kind of the essence of it. It's not like I or some teacher or whoever can give you a set of instructions and then it's like, okay, go do this, go do this, go do this, and then you'll arrive at something. It's kind of pointed out right from the start that what you're seeking and what's being communicated and what's been pointed out in these teachings is the fact that there's something about you that is the truth, and nobody can give that to you, but you need to stop and look and consider the truth of who and what you are. And in that looking and in that understanding is where the freedom comes, where the understanding of these spiritual pointers comes. The teachings of non-duality say that the truth, the reality that all of us, spiritual seekers have been looking for is our true nature. So the basic question that comes up if you're looking into this is, well, what is my true nature? Because it comes up, the pointer that's kind of talked about is the reason that we're seeking and the reason that we're confused and the reason that we may have questions and doubts is because we're not completely clear on who and what we are. So resolving that question is the essence of the kind of the spiritual search. And to be able to say, well, I've looked into that question and it's very clear to me what my true nature is, not just as a theory or something like that, but in your own direct experience. To be able to look at that question, to say that understanding is your experience, is the whole essence of it. And what these kinds of teachings have always said is that in knowing what you are, comes the fruit of the spiritual kind of quest, which is the peace and the certainty, the end of the seeking and the end of the questions, the end of the search, and the freedom from the doubts and the questions and the problems that have kind of plagued us, because it all gets back down to the reason that we ever were seeking and the reason that we ever had any problems and questions was simply because we didn't know clearly what we were, who we are. One of these people that heard enlightenment, awakening and stuff, and I really thought there was such a thing, and I was waiting for it, and I was hoping that at some point it would happen or whatever like that. Bob Adamson, he said one thing right in the beginning. He said, if you're waiting for enlightenment, you're going to wait forever. If you're waiting for something in the future that's going to happen to you, you will wait forever. You'll wait the rest of your life, you'll live and you'll die, and there will be nothing like that, because that's not what it is. And I'm like, wow, okay, it was kind of shocking to me, but it was also very liberating, because I was realizing I was laboring under some, something wasn't quite right, because I had been waiting and hoping and searching and this kind of thing for a long time. So when he told me that, that's not what it is, that's not what this is pointing to, it was, at once it was kind of shocking, but then it was tremendously liberating, because I felt like a lot of the concepts and burden around that kind of idea kind of dropped away. You exist, you're aware. Okay, you know this intuitively, and it's absolutely beyond doubt. That's what you are. You're not this body, you're not this mind, you're not the thoughts, you're the principle, the sense of presence, the sense of the awareness itself. You exist and you know you exist. And it's absolutely clearly evident. Like anybody in the room right now have any problem, knowing that they exist and knowing that there's a sense of awareness going on. It's so utterly evident that it's like the air, we breathe. We don't really quite even take cognizance of it. It might not have any significance. What was really interesting in sitting with a guy like that, he just